It's one of the first UCI multi-day stage races of the year. In the heat of summer, it takes place on the rough, unforgiving, rocky terrain of the Koabokkerveld and Witzenberg Mountains, not far from Ceres in the Western Cape. It's the Momentum Health Tankwa Trek, presented by Biogen. South Africa's best marathon racing teams are all there, as are a good selection of international teams. While the race could not be won on the Prologue, this was the chance to lay down a marker ahead of day 2. The team all others were weary of was the Toyota Specialized pair Matt Beers and Alex Miller, the national marathon champions of South Africa and Namibia respectively, and they held nothing back.
I mean, it's always nice if we can get a gap on this short stage. We didn't really plan to get a gap that early because it's quite long to keep it, but yeah, the opportunity came, so we took it. Yeah, obviously we know this stage quite well. Tomorrow is really hard, it's really rough, and but yeah, I think we both know it really well, and the pass coming back, into this valley is always it's kind of where the race is going to go. So yeah, I think we're quite confident, and but yeah, a lot can happen out there, so we'll definitely have to keep it going.
The rest were chasing the leaders, Beers and Miller, who joined the Toyota Specialized setup this year. The KMC-Ridley team of Martins Blooms and Gunnar Holmgren had to work their way through the field and force themselves into the podium reckoning. A stacked women's elite field included the gold and silver medalists from last year's Marathon World Championships, Austrian Mona Mitterwallner and South African champion Candice Lill.
Sure, it was always going to be a really fast stage. I think we had a super fast time, like an hour or so. So the beginning was quite open, all the teams stayed together, nobody really wanted to do anything, and then once we got to the first single track I went to the front, but Mona was a few wheels back, so it kind of like neutralized everything, and I think I just started making the pace a little bit hard so that hopefully people's legs would be sore towards the end. And then yeah, probably about 15 to 20k, somewhere around there, Mona and I had a small gap, and she looked at me and I looked at her, and she said, "Let's go," and then off we went, and basically it was full gas to the line. It was such a small gap, so it was really intense racing.
And it was intense all the way through the field on a hot late afternoon in the Koabokkerveld. Beers and Miller had opened a small but significant gap on their rivals. Miller just making sure they were not being caught, and they powered onto the lush lawns of Kaleo to claim the win in 51 minutes and 53 seconds. Blooms and Holmgren showed the benefits of their South African training camp. They took second place 36 seconds back. The fight for third was tight. Biogen, Eurosteel, Imbuko Pro Cycling and the Bulls Heroes were all together as they charged towards the finish. And Peter de Toy and Jaden Turler, Biogen Eurosteel, managed to outsprint the others and take third spot on the podium. Mitterwallner in the Marathon World Champions jersey and Lill were relentless as they pushed hard for every second's advantage. The Cannondale Factory Racing pair flew home in an hour and 1 minute. Just 65 seconds behind them were the untested combination of Daniel Stradum and Vera Loza, the Namibian champion, racing for efficient Infiniti Insure, who in turn were 39 seconds clear of the KMC-Ridley pair of Jana Bellamona and Janneke Loiv. Comfortable night's rest at Kaleo, a clear but thankfully cool morning welcomed the riders ahead of what was the first marathon stage. Serious faces reflecting the challenge ahead. 88 kilometres and 1,700 metres of climbing through the remote and rough Witzenberg Valley. For the experienced Martins Blooms, it could have been better. He and Holmgren lost time to a puncture.
Yeah, this was really a tough stage. I'm pretty glad that the weather was pretty good for us and it was not too hot as it was last year. But I knew this is really a tough stage with a tough climb. Yeah, stage was pretty fast. Start was actually already with pretty high pace and the group was splitting into pieces. Yeah, it was, I don't know if it was a puncture or slow, I just lost some air, but yeah, it was a bit soft tire, so it was better to stop in this case instead of just pushing on the rocky downhill.
The KMC-Ridley pair had to ride hard back through the field for a second day in a row. The drop off the plateau is a special piece of trail. The women's leaders, Mitterwallner and Lill, in the pink First Ascent jerseys, were the marked team. Mitterwallner and Lill were keen to pull back time on them as they led in the early stages. Once the climbing began though, Lill and Mitterwallner went to the front. That had the effect of separating the group with just the top 3 teams in the picture: Cannondale Factory Racing, KMC-Ridley and efficient Infiniti Insure. Back with the men, and the leaders in yellow had company in the form of Marco Hubert and Wessel Buerter of Imbuko Pro Cycling.
Yes, I mean Marco and Wessel were strong today, but I knew they would try to put the pressure on, and yeah, they did that obviously, and they did quite a good job. And then coming back up the old Gator pass, I think we tried to get rid of them, but they still stuck. And then coming on the cement single track, we just kept the pressure on, and I knew I'd be able to recover again. And then we hit them again on the last climb out of there, and we got a gap, and then it was a tailwind from there. So yeah, it was very, very fast coming back, and happy with how it went.
Hubert and Buerter had started the day just under 2 minutes off the race leaders in 5th. They're tenacious and hung with the Toyota Specialized team for as long as they possibly could. The second group was being led by French champion Axel Rudel-Cortina of Bull's Mavericks, with KMC and Piger in tow, as well as his partner Simon Schneller.
Yeah, it was a super hard day. Yesterday we didn't have such a good day, and yeah, we were hoping for more, so we figured we'll just sort of try ride our pace, make it hard from the start. Did that, and in the end it was us with the Toyota Specialized guys. But yeah, last 10 Ks, Matt went to the front and absolutely smashed the pedals. We missed the train, and yeah, we went, but now we're on the podium, so yeah, that was our goal for today. So box checked, and 2 more days to go. Tomorrow's a big day.
The second stage win for Beers and Miller in 3 hours 21 minutes. The brave Imbuko pair were 1 minute and 19 back. KMC lost just over 3 minutes, they were third. In the women's race, another good day for Lill and Mitterwallner.
Everyone told me that Tankwa track is so hot, so I'm still waiting for the proper heat. But no, it was still a hard race. I mean, the pace was not so high the first 2 hours. I think everyone was like waiting. Candice and me controlled the race, I would say, from the beginning, and we then just said after 48 Ks, once the big climb started, we go now, and we just attacked and we brought it to the line.
In 4 hours and 5 minutes. Mitterwallner and Lill was second, 5 minutes back, and Stratum and Loss a third, a further 2 minutes adrift. Another perfect dawn over the Koa-Bokkeveld heralded the Queen stage. 98 kilometers and 2,200 meters of climbing, with the infamous Merino monster lying in wait. Many of the riders knew what they were in for. Some, though, were on a voyage of discovery, like Bull's Leon Kaiser.
Yeah, so it's my first time here in South Africa, and also the first stage race. Normally I race XO, now preparing for the Olympics. But I think if you ride for Team Bulls, you have to come to South Africa and race a stage race. And I think I fell in love with the country and stage racing already. So far I have a lot of fun. Also, it's the first time racing together with Urs, and yeah, day by day we're getting better to race better with each other. I think today we had a good position right from the start, and then had a gap after the first downhill, and then yeah, made it a good race, and in the end it worked with the podium.
For the second day running, Hubert of Imbuko took the challenge to the race leaders. The Bulls' heroes were in the mix all day. Urs, the ideal partner for the inexperienced stage racer Kaiser. They charged through the feed zone in the Witzenberg Valley cold storage. The women's race was also a 3-team tussle. Cannondale Factory Racing, KMC-Ridley and efficient Infiniti Insure were together for most of the first half of the stage. All weary of the havoc the Merino monster can wreak if you go too hard early on. The experience and power of Toyota Specialized was impressive on the Queen stage, and try as they might, Imbuko just could not break them.
Yeah, I know they're world class. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 things Tankwa has shown us that we still need to work on, like training wise and stuff. But yeah, that's why we came to this event. This event tests you, like body and bikes. Our bikes have been perfect. But yeah, to keep up with Alex and Matt, yeah, there's still 1 or 2%. But yeah, today was a monster day, Queen stage, and Merino was super fast. I think Matt took the comp. and we were just behind them. Luckily it started flattening out and the downhill came, we chased back, and then Matt threw a flyer the last 5Ks, and I just thought 5Ks to go, might as well go all in.
Ever aggressive Marco Hubert, whose bold and brave racing lit up the stage as he and Wessel Boerter tried to stay on the Miller-Beers Express train. In the end, it was a hat-trick of stage wins for Toyota Specialized. They're 4 hours and 44 seconds, just 10 seconds faster than an exhausted Hubert and Boerter in second. Bull's Heroes were 90 seconds back in third. The Merino Monster was decisive in the women's race. Aggressive climbing of Biogen and Lill put the race-leading Cannondale Factory Racing pair under some pressure as the KMC team looked to open a gap to the third-place team of Loss and Stratum.
It's nice to stay with them all this climb because we had a really small gap from third girls, so we know that we must work, and after climbing we stay together also on the descent, and then we know, okay, just less than 20 kilometers to the finish we know that it's mostly flat parts, and we must to work on the front because they have a big gap, so they're not thinking about to lose the victory, but we know that we must work hard because of the third place close by.
A first stage win for the KMC pair, while Lill and Mitterwallner lost just 5 seconds. With 2 massive days behind them, the final stage was relatively easy at 57 kilometers and 920 meters of climbing. It was short and sharp, so a spell on the rollers ahead of the start was in order for the Imbuko pair. The GC standings had Hubert and Boerter 3 minutes and 24 seconds behind Toyota Specialized and nearly 6 minutes ahead of the Bull's Heroes. Predictably, the pace was searing from the start. The GC chasers doing the work while the yellow jerseys sat in the pack. That tactic didn't last too long. Keen for another stage win, Beers lit the touch paper and blasted off. Miller and the KMC pair of Blooms and Holmgren hung on as Beers ripped into the stage.
Yeah, and the start was super hard today. Our plan was to make it hard as well, but I think that was everybody's plan. And yeah, my legs were suffering a bit the first 20 Ks today, so yeah, I really had to dig deep. And yeah, we were in the second group, and then luckily Marco was riding strong today, and I got better the second half, and we almost got back to the front guys. But yeah, third on the stage, but still kept our second overall, so yeah, happy to end the race like that. We would have liked to have a better prologue, but all the long stages, I think we can be super happy with that. The power was there in the long climbs, and yeah, me and Marco had fun racing, and that's the main thing.
They were in a class of their own. KMC hanging on for all they were worth as Toyota Specialized turned on the turbos. Keeping up on the flats was tough, but the sandy single track was some high-risk game time for Martin's Blooms. That's the result of the pressure to try and maintain the insanely high pace being set on the front. The Toyota Specialized team were faultless all week. Beers is the strongest marathon rider in South Africa, and pairing him with the young Namibian Miller was a masterstroke.
I think it's my 4th one so far. Doing it with Matt this year, of course, is a big privilege. I've been able to learn a lot from him, and yeah, I mean, he's such an experienced guy, so yeah, very great to be able to pull off the win. It's been a good event, and I'd just like to say thank you to Momentum and Dryland for putting together an amazing event like they normally do though.
To their credit, the Latvian Blooms and Canadian Holmgren fought tooth and nail to stay with the leaders. And it was the KMC-Ridley pair who took the stage win, while Beers and Miller settled for second and the overall title. And a sticky, bubbly shower.
Yeah, I think today being a nice short stage with a lot of single track, I really believe that the best way to race that is from the front and to try and control the race. And also to avoid mistakes, obviously, like when there's the sun in your face and light and dust, things can happen pretty easily. So we just decided to control from the front from the beginning, and yeah, eventually there was a moment where it snapped.
That calculated, strategic approach paid rich dividends for Mona Mitterwallner and Candice Lill. The margin of victory over KMC-Ridley was 8 minutes and 55 seconds, with Loss and Stratum an impressive third in their first race together.